Hello, very good day to you from wherever you're watching us. This is Herman Manyora's YouTube channel. Welcome to another classic episode of the Candid Talk. I'm glad that you're here with us. Of course, I'm joined by Professor Herman Manyora. It's a pleasure to have you on board, sir. How are you?
Good.
How is it going so far?
Wonderful.
Still looking at how things are taking place in the country.
Everything is moving well.
The bipartisan talks are still going on. And we do hope and pray that things will
go on. Our prayers are beginning to pay dividends.
An incident actually took place yesterday along Jogo Road where one of the buses was touched down there after one of the car operators, the bus operators, decided to throw a passenger out of the vehicle, apparently for failing to pay 20 bob. I wonder the kind of animosity that is risen in our countrymen now. How can a conductor go to that extent of doing such kind of a thing, Prof? Does it really mean that that is where we are? People can get frustrated at that moment where you push somebody out of the...
Yeah, the pressure, we are inside a pressure cooker. The economy is hurting and the people are suffering and the stress levels are very high. So people can do those kind of things, both those who threw the passenger out and those who reacted and the manner they reacted. But it's also the matatu subculture. You know, we need to have a comprehensive transport policy in this country. And in such an arrangement, I don't think matatu has a place. Yeah, the matatu is an outdated outfit that should not be allowed on our roads. Matatu is
Then which means of transport could be there for use as an alternative?
Pardon?
Which means of transport could be used as an alternative?
I mentioned the word comprehensive transport policy.
Okay.
A comprehensive transport policy will address all these issues. What kind of vehicles do you need? Do you need train? Where from where? What do you do with the matatu operators today? Because they also must leave. You know, how do they transit to the new business models? Yeah.
Well, that's a conversation that we'll have. Definitely, we do pray that sobriety will actually prevail on our roads right now, because we do not want to witness such kind of events as the one that was witnessed yesterday along Jogo Road. Now, let's get into today's conversation, and we are looking at Ruto's new look. Finally, you saw the president appointed the Director General National Intelligence Service, and that means, therefore, that the National Security Council is now complete. Now, there was this title, or rather topic, headline from the Star. Of course, they say that smart people read the Star. I wonder whether you also read the Star.
Of course.
As well. Ruto's new look, powerful National Security Council. I wonder whether you are in agreement with that headline by the Star, owing to the fact that look at the people who are there who are actually forming the National Security Council as at now. Yes, definitely.
I know where you are going. I don't want to go there myself. I have no comment. No comment.
But then look at this. There was that kind of uproar over the appointment of Nordin Aji as the National Intelligence Service Director.
He's a Kenyan.
When people are saying, and a section of members of the public are saying, well and good, here we are. Some of these things we suspected, and you performed your work as the Director of Public Prosecutions. Yes. You failed us, and now you're here. What is it that is cooking for them?
You know, competency, ability, merit has never been a consideration in this country. Apart from the Kenyatta one government, Jomo Kenyatta, where people were appointed, I think the first crop of Kenyans who took over, it was on the basis of their training, education, and experience. People like Kenneth Matiba, young ministers, young permanent secretaries, young administrators. But we long forgot about merit in this country. So if Haji gets a job, why should he be the first person to be subjected to this merit nonsense? We have agreed as a country merit is nothing. So maybe what else do they have against him?
So
it can't be merit. Because if we went by merit, nobody would be in those offices.
Okay.
You'll be looking for people, new people. The ones who are there are not there because of merit. Yeah.
So you look at and that is why actually engaging at the structure and composition of our national security.
And I'm not saying it doesn't merit. I'm just saying those who are saying he didn't perform well as director of public prosecution. And on the basis of not performing well, then he shouldn't get this new job. But I'm saying, but we have never made merit one of our considerations in this country. And we have all been happy with it. Because even if the president were to move to sack somebody who has failed, we shall cry, say, this is our person, to me or never. So.
No, do you think that perhaps Nuruddin Haji has been vindicated because for a long time he's been on the receiving end from a section of the public who are claiming that it was being used by the government to drop those cases, all those high-profile cases that never saw the light of the day?
So how is he vindicated? By being given a bigger job?
Right now, it's like because definitely for you to be part of the National Security Council, that organ alone, you cannot just be
I have said, and I'm not talking about National Security Council.
Of course, we're not getting that.
To me, it's just a job. And this country long decided that merit is not anything we consider. Yeah.
So that's why you've got no problem.
Anybody can get what they want to get. I mean, we have agreed as a country, merit is nothing. Yeah.
Therefore, it has no consequence.
Those of us who talk about it are made to look like mad people. So we are also beginning to stop. Let anybody get any job. But the consequences, of course, are there. The consequences are that you deny yourself an opportunity to move forward as a country. Because no organization, no country, no establishment can move without leadership. The success of any enterprise, any organization, any country depends on the men and women you put in charge. So if we have decided we don't want to move forward, so let anybody get any job. So I don't want to ask how was Haji appointed, because I'll be going into issues of merit. And merit is not one of our considerations. Not to say he does not merited. No, I'm not saying that. I'm just saying those who are raising that issue should shut up.
No, look at the office of the Director of Public Prosecutions right now. That office definitely, its significance in as far as justice in this country is concerned. Right now, you're looking at what the country is facing, all those scandals left, right, and center. Who then do you think would be in a position to fill in Haji's shoes?
I don't know. Again, anybody can be there. One day we woke up and we were told Chesoni was Chief Justice. People who had known Chesoni said, what? Chesoni? But he was a very good Chief Justice. Then another day, Bernard Chunga, Chief Justice. What? We've had these shocks, now they are no longer there. Nothing can shock a Kenyan. You can wake up tomorrow and make anybody anything. So why should we speculate about who becomes Director of Public Prosecution? Anybody can fit there. Because for two reasons. One is we have decided merit is not important. And maybe following that, the second reason is that nobody's ever given a job in this country to be able to work. No. They just put you there so that you do their bidding. If you try to be independent, they chase you out. So what is this issue of who can qualify for that job, who is more fitting, who is more fit to be there, where is the merit? Forget about that. If you are given a job and you try to work, you'll go home.
Okay.
Nobody wants anybody to work. And the ecosystem that can enable you to work is missing. So what are we talking about? And listen here, and this is very serious. Because of our past, the pains we went through, the history, the sacrifices, the near misses, the near collapse of the nation in 2007, 2008 of the country. Because of all that background, we wanted to shield ourselves so that we do not get anywhere near 2008 where we almost lost the country. What did we do? We came up with this idea of institutions to help us navigate in the future. When there are election challenges, we gave ourselves the Supreme Court. Because nobody trusted Hussein Mohammed as the Commissioner of Police, we had a new police with the new vetted new judges. We created the office of the ODPP. We created this and the other. We forgot one important thing. That those offices and institutions, commissions and what have you, are as important as the men and women inside. So we gave ourselves very wonderful institutions and offices and commissions. But we did nothing about the people to be in those. And now it is gone full circle. And we are paying for it, and we are beginning to see that perhaps in the future we will have to start afresh. Do we need all these institutions we created? If yes, I mean, how many do we need? Maybe a few of them, maybe all of them. But more critical, how will we get the people in those institutions? That was a much more critical question to ask and to answer than we thought. So we never gave it attention. We thought once you have this institution, then you put in any man, any woman.
Now, that also begs the question, what does it take for anybody to be appointed in any senior government office in this country? Of course, like a number
it's
of
an international thing that presidents and other people just appoint people. You don't have to be very good. Even the president mentioned it. He has people also to appoint. He has friends who have helped him. And it works across the world, like he said, which is true. But you see, until we accept the truth, the reality, that unless you have the right men and women in offices, this country will never move forward. One day, the country will grind to a stop. One day, the things we take for granted will all be disappeared. Because if these useless people are driving the country in the wrong direction, one day the citizens will get annoyed, like they have gotten annoyed in other countries. Life becomes so unbearable, and there will be an uprising. Citizens will rise up against the leadership, and we will lose our country. So I think, therefore, the sooner we realize the importance of merit, the better. I've had this a clip doing round in Singapore, MPH, and about Lee Kuan Yew, the man who put Singapore on the map. How did he do it? Because he wanted Singapore to be rid of corruption, to be independent, not to depend on other countries, and to sit on the same table with the big nations of the world. How was he going to do it? Number one was merit. And then you can do those other things like pragmatic and so on. Merit. Until you come to the realization that it is men and women who will move the country to the next level, you will never go anywhere. Because we think just about anybody can do anything. So a job comes up, you put anybody there. Somebody who can't even distinguish their right hand from their left hand, and you make them director of an institution. Now, this against the reality that there are men and women who are capable. There are men and women who are
capable?
Yeah. There are men and women who can become our ambassadors, and we benefit from those stations where we have taken ambassadors. But we don't put their career diplomats. We think just about anybody can be an ambassador without clear policies. Even countries that just appoint anybody from business to become ambassador, they have a serious structure on the ground. The ambassador is just the face of it all. You see, and they quickly learn and get to know what is supposed to be done. What does America stand for? What does the UK stand for? What is the foreign policy? When I'm in this country, what interests of the nation am I pursuing? But so that you send somebody to a country as ambassador, his work is just to drink. Anamuka asubuhi, and breakfast, goes to the office, akisoma magazeti, he goes for lunch.
Wow.
Then plays golf, then goes to drink in the evening. And he's an ambassador.
Now, talking about Singapore, just as you said, the Prime Minister of Singapore was here in the country, and they had that deliberations and all those conversations with our president here, signed MOUs here and there, all those to make sure that they eliminate trade barriers between the two countries, to harmonize that. And of course, our president is said very categorically and properly that he is on course to make Kenya reach the League of Nations, where nations are, where Singapore, and of course he gave Singapore as an example. Should he therefore not trust the president, or rather trust him with right now with everything that is taking place, with every decision that he's making, because he totally means well for people, if at all what he said yesterday was to go back?
Why would I not trust the president? I'll trust him. If he says he'll do things, we have to trust that he will do them.
But why are you talking of merit? At the same time, you said that it's merit that led into the transformation of Singapore.
But look, if the president wants to turn Kenya into a Singapore, he will have to know how Singapore got transformed. He knows the first thing is merit. There's no way you can change this country unless you go to merit. You can't.
Okay.
That's how Singapore changed. That's how South Korea changed. So that's how all these countries. If you go Turkey, Brazil, India, the new kids on the block in terms of economic development and prosperity, the BRICS. It is the thinking. The one common denominator is the thinking, the innovation. That you can see men are behind this. There are women and men behind this. This is an idea. It's not a project for people to eat money like we do in Kenya. Everything you go into is a well thought out idea. Even when you just look at it from far, you can see there's some thinking that has gone into it. And once it is in the implementation plan, you can begin to see the seriousness by the men and women put in charge of the project. You can just see. So this is a serious thing. There was thinking that went into it. And you can see the implementation stage is a serious stage because of the serious people involved in this implementation.
You've always opined that the merit of our government officials right now is questionable.
Yes.
But at the same time, so you were saying that is, but the president is saying he's taking us the Singapore way. But then you're saying that you trust the president.
But I also trust the president is a man who can also see. The president knows. Some of the things he wants to do will only remain dreams until he has the men and women to assist him to push through. He knows it.
Currently, does he have them, according to you?
So there is, that department is a little wanting. The department is a little wanting. If the government has to move forward, if this country has to move forward, the president will have to come to terms with the reality. There's need for a shake-up. There's need to reorganize government by bringing in men. You see, there's something like inspiring confidence. If you appoint a cabinet secretary, people look at this minister and say, this one, then they know you are not serious. So even in the entire department, even if the civil service infrastructure, the men and women who are professionals in that ministry, the moment you give them a certain sack of potatoes and you say this is a minister, they know you are not serious. So they are not motivated to work. In fact, they are discouraged. They lose morale. So that's why the president will be well advised to look at his appointments and know that perceptions are very important. Who do you put at the head of a department? Who do you put at the head of a ministry? If there are people, one full of scandals and they are incompetent, so when you roll these two into one, somebody is full of scandals and he's incompetent, what do you expect people in that ministry to do? Or in that department, or in that parastatal? So, if you give people a thief, and they know he's a known thief, everybody knows this is a thief, you make him an MD of a state corporation or a parastatal. Everybody knows that's a license for them to steal. So everybody in their small way from the cleaner up there, everybody steals.
So when a scandal comes out, we should not be surprised.
Why would you be surprised if you put a thief in charge of a prestator and everybody say, oh, hallelujah, let us also start stealing. So everybody just steals because he doesn't have even the courage to call his head, what do you call them? Section heads or line managers and give them a riot, read them a riot act, tell them, ladies and gentlemen, hii wizi mmekuwa mkiiba hapa, loopholes you must seal. Sasa yeye amekuja kama mwizi. Sasa atatoa wapi courage ya kuambia wengine waache wizi?
Well, allow me to stop this conversation at this particular moment, but please do not fail to subscribe to our channel here in case you're watching us for the first time, and of course do hit that notification button there, that bell there, so that whenever we upload any content, then YouTube will automatically notify you. As well, do not fail to tune into some of our programs that will be coming up next. Of course, Richard Mwenje is always here, and Jedel Kabiro as well. Ladies and gentlemen, till we have this conversation again, have yourself a lovely day. My name is Evans Okinyi.